All right, so we're diving deep into becoming a virtual assistant in 2025. We've got your research and notes right here, ready to go. And to help us make sense of it all, well, we've got our expert who can really, connect the dots.
It's amazing, really, how much the VA role has changed. It's not so much about, being a master of everything. Now it's more like you're this, like a hybrid part tech person, part admin
Who's
whiz.
someone who not only handles like emails and scheduling, but also like, those complex software
Yeah,
programs.
exactly. And maybe even using AI to make things easier. You're not just there for support, you're a strategic part of the team. In fact, one article you shared even mentioned a VA who's like the expert in automating marketing stuff with AI.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. It seems like this whole shift towards a more strategic and tech-savvy VA. It's tied to, well, everyone working remotely now and all those startups who need, like, flexible help.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, it's way more cost effective to hire a VA than a full-time employee. But okay, let's get practical here. What are the skills you actually need to, make it as a VA?
Well, all the articles you sent, they all agree that communication is king. And it's not just, like, writing a perfect email. It's about being clear and professional on, like, all different platforms.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, there was this one article, this VA lost a client because of some, well, not so great Slack messages. Might seem small, but it just shows how important it is to communicate well everywhere. And speaking of, well, channels, you got to be good with a whole bunch of different software.
More than just the usual, like, Microsoft Office or Google stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Think about those cloud-based project management tools, things like Slack or Microsoft Teams for talking to people, and maybe even some basic graphic design for social media, you
Mhm.
know? And your notes mentioned financial management, right? So maybe getting comfy with bookkeeping software, something like Zero, that'd be smart.
Oh, yeah. That was in one of the articles about, like, high-earning VA niches.
Yeah.
But juggling all those skills, plus different clients and deadlines that always change. Time management must be, like, a superpower for VAs.
It's crucial, especially when you're your own boss. You mentioned the Pomodoro technique in your notes. It's a good place to start. But as you get busier, you might want to look into a time tracking app, something like Toggle.
Makes sense. And I imagine there are always those unexpected things, clients changing deadlines, tech issues.
Hmm.
So being able to solve problems on the fly, that's going to be important too.
Absolutely. One article talked about this VA who basically saved the day. Client's website crashed during a big product launch, and this VA fixed it super fast. Shows how important it is to think fast and find solutions. But beyond all that, you know what really makes a VA stand out? Attention to detail.
Yeah, one article really made that point. Even small mistakes can like really damage a client's trust. So triple checking everything, spreadsheets, email addresses, it's got to be a habit.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the big question. Certifications. Do you absolutely need a degree to be a VA? Not really, but it can give you a good foundation.
And I see you've highlighted some specific certifications in my notes. Certified Virtual Assistant, Project Management Professional.
Those can definitely add credibility, especially when you're starting out. The PMP, yeah, it might seem a bit general, but a lot of the articles you shared talked about VAs taking on more project management roles these days, so it could be really valuable.
I'm noticing a trend here. It's not just about like the basic admin stuff anymore. You need to be able to think strategically, be good with tech, and manage projects well.
You got it. And your notes also highlight something else that's really important,
Uh,
specializing. But with so many options, how do you actually choose the right niche?
that's what I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
There's so many possibilities. Social media, e-commerce, content creation.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. One article suggested instead of chasing the latest trends, focus on what you're already good at. What skills do you feel confident in? What tasks do you actually enjoy doing?
Well, I got a background in marketing, and I really like writing. So maybe something that combines those.
Interesting. A few of your sources talked about how much demand there is for content marketing specialists. VAs who can write blog posts, create emails, even write scripts for videos. They're in high demand, especially in niche industries.
Right, niche industry. So I don't have to be like a generalist. I can focus on a specific industry.
Absolutely. One article mentioned this VA who specializes in helping sustainable fashion brands. She combined her passion for, being eco-friendly with her marketing skills, and she built a really successful business.
That's a great example. But Beyond just what I'm interested in, isn't market demand a big factor too?
For sure, you got to make sure there are actually people out there who need what you're offering. Tools like Google Trends can show you how many people are searching for different services, and platforms like LinkedIn can give you an idea of which industries are hiring VAs.
So it's about finding that balance, right? My strengths, what the market needs, and maybe even a little bit of passion.
Exactly, but choosing a niche, that's just the first step. Let's face it, even the best VA needs clients. So how do you actually market yourself in 2025?
I'm glad you asked, because that's where I'm a bit lost. Do I need a fancy website? Should I be on every social media platform?
This is where your research comes in handy. One article really emphasized understanding your ideal client's pain points. What are their problems? And how can you, with your unique skills, solve those problems?
Makes sense. But how do you even figure out what those pain points are?
Research and networking. One strategy you noted was joining online communities, one specific to your niche. Get involved in conversations, figure out what problems people keep running into, and then position yourself as someone who can help.
So it's not about like just shouting about my services everywhere. It's about targeting the right people with the right message.
Exactly. And that brings us to creating a marketing plan. It's not enough to just say you want more clients. Your goal's got to be specific, measurable.
I did see that mentioned, yeah. Like increasing website traffic or getting a certain number of clients by a certain date.
Exactly. And don't forget about budget. How much can you realistically spend on marketing? Free stuff like content marketing and networking, those can be really effective. But you might also want to think about paid advertising, on platforms where your ideal clients are.
I gotta admit, I'm a little intimidated by paid advertising. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
This is where specializing helps. Say you focus on helping e-commerce businesses. Then you can target your ads specifically on platforms like Shopify or Etsy, where those businesses are.
Okay, so the key takeaway here is to be strategic with marketing. Figure out who your ideal client is, understand their problems, and target your efforts directly at them.
You got it. And another important thing is diversification. Don't rely on just one thing, like social media or your website. Explore a mix of online and offline strategies.
You mentioned content marketing earlier. Is it like writing blog posts or articles about my niche?
They can be a lot of things, yeah. Blog posts, guides people can download, even short videos. The point is to give your audience something valuable, show them you're an expert, build trust.
So it's not just saying hire me. It's more like showing potential clients what I can do.
Exactly. Way more effective than just shouting about your services. And speaking of building trust, what about email marketing?
One article mentioned lead magnets, like offering a free checklist or template, and people give you their email address in exchange. Is that still a thing in 2025?
Oh yeah, lead magnets are still powerful. Having an email list lets you build relationships with potential clients. You can share useful content, offer them special deals, and stay on their radar.
So it's about building a connection before even trying to sell them something.
Exactly. And speaking of connections, we can't forget about social media. It's not just posting pretty pictures. It's about interacting with people, sharing your knowledge, building real relationships.
I have to say, the idea of being active on social media kind of stresses me out. Do I really need to be on every single platform?
Nah, not necessarily. It's more about choosing the platforms where your ideal clients hang out. If you're targeting creative businesses, maybe Instagram or Pinterest are better. If it's tech startups, maybe LinkedIn or Twitter make more sense.
So, again, being strategic and focusing my efforts.
You got it. And don't forget about good old-fashioned networking. Even in the digital age, it's still important. Go to industry events, join online communities, build relationships with potential clients and collaborators.
Okay, I'm writing that down. Check out some virtual networking events for VAs. But before I go out and network, I need like a real workspace. What are the essentials for a successful VA in 2025?
Let's start with the basics, your tech setup. You need a reliable computer. And I'm not talking about that old laptop that's barely hanging on. Think fast processing, lots of RAM, enough storage for all those client files.
So basically, don't be cheap when it comes to the tools I need, right? It's an investment.
Exactly. And just as important, high-speed internet is non-negotiable. You're going to be doing everything online, so a fast connection is a must.
Thankfully, I've already got that covered. But what about all the other gadgets? One article talked about ergonomic keyboards and fancy headsets. Are those really necessary?
Well, ergonomics are important, for your health and productivity. A good chair, a desk at the right height, those can prevent aches and pains and help you focus.
Okay, so maybe ditch the couch and laptop setup. But what about all those other tech tools, like Microphones and webcams. Do I really need all the fancy stuff?
Think about it from your client's point of view. When you're in a meeting, having clear audio and video, that looks professional. Invest in a good headset and webcam, it's a small price to pay for making a good impression.
You're right, first impressions matter. But what about keeping all my work and client data safe? Cybersecurity seems like a minefield.
You're right to be concerned. Things like secure file sharing, encrypted communication tools, and good backup solutions, those are essential. And you got to keep your software updated and stay informed about, the latest cybersecurity stuff.
It sounds like a lot to keep track of. Any specific tools or resources you recommend?
Tons of options out there, and the best ones depend on what you need and your budget. One article suggested LastPass for managing passwords safely. And a cloud backup service like Backblaze can give you peace of mind, just in case something happens.
Okay, I'm taking notes. But beyond the tech, what about creating a productive workspace at home? I'm picturing a dedicated office, but my apartment's pretty small.
Doesn't have to be a huge office. Even just a dedicated workspace, like a corner of your living room, can make a big difference. Help separate work time from personal time.
Makes sense that mental separation is probably just as important as a physical one.
Exactly. And think about your environment. Natural light, a comfy chair, a clean desk. Those can all help you focus and be more productive.
So maybe I need to invest in some storage solutions to tame my clutter. But let's be real. Even with a perfect workspace, juggling multiple projects and deadlines, that can get overwhelming.
That's where project management and time management come in. We talked about the Pomodoro technique, but let's dive into some other strategies that can help you stay organized and avoid burnout.
Okay, I'm ready for the organizational tips. Let's unpack those strategies and see how they apply to my future VA life.
One of your sources, this seasoned VA, she really loved Asana for project management. You can create projects, assign tasks, set deadlines, track progress, even work with clients all in one place.
So it's like having a virtual assistant for my virtual assistant business.
Exactly.
But what about when I'm looking at my to-do list and it's just like miles long? Totally overwhelming. Where do I even start?
Prioritize. Not all tasks are equally important. Remember the Eisenhower matrix? You highlighted it in one of the articles. Great tool for sorting tasks by urgency and importance.
Right, right. Focus on the urgent and important stuff first, and then delegate or postpone the rest. Speaking of delegating, is that something I should be thinking about, even if I'm just starting out?
Delegating is smart, even early on. Think about those tasks you just don't like or that, drain you. Could you outsource those to another VA or a freelancer?
I hadn't really thought about that. It feels kind of weird to outsource when I'm just getting started.
Think of it as investing in your growth. When you delegate those, less important tasks, you have more time and energy for the stuff you're good at. And that helps you attract those higher paying clients.
That's a good point, but how do I even find, like, reliable people to delegate to?
In your research, there were a few online platforms specifically for finding freelance VAs. Websites like Fancy Hands and Virtual Assistant Jobs, those are good places to start.
Okay, I'll check those out. But even with delegating, managing all those projects, it still feels like a lot to juggle. How do I keep everything organized and make sure each client, gets my best work?
Clear communication and setting realistic expectations, those are key. One article talked about how important it is to check in with clients regularly, even just quick updates like short email outlining progress or, any roadblocks you've hit. It builds trust and helps avoid misunderstandings.
So it's better to over-communicate than leave clients wondering what's going on. But what about when things go wrong? Tech issues, missed deadlines. How do I handle those situations?
Be transparent and focus on finding solutions. If there's a problem, don't try to hide it. Tell your client what's going on, explain it clearly, and tell them what you're doing to fix it.
Right, sweeping problems under the rug, that never ends well.
Exactly.
But even with good communication and problem-solving skills, there are always going to be challenges.
Yeah.
Right? What are some of the biggest hurdles I should be prepared for as a VA?
One thing many VAs struggle with is maintaining consistent quality as they get more clients. It's easy to get overwhelmed and, let things slip when you're juggling a lot of projects.
So how do I avoid that trap?
Standardized processes are your best friend. One article suggested creating checklists for, the tasks you do all the time. That way, even when you're busy, you're still consistent and less likely to make mistakes.
Checklists. Definitely adding that to my list. But what about when things get really busy and I'm tempted to take on more than I can handle? How do I know when to say no to new clients or projects?
Setting boundaries is so important to avoid burning out. Remember time blocking, that technique you mentioned in your notes. Allocating specific time slots for different tasks or clients.
I've heard of it, but how does that help with saying no?
When you visually map out your time, you can see how much you actually have available. If a new project doesn't fit without, sacrificing other commitments or your personal time, that's when you say no.
That's a really practical approach. But saying no to potential income, that's tough, especially when you're just starting out.
Remember, taking on too much will actually hurt your business in the long run. If you're overworked and stressed, you're more likely to make mistakes, miss deadlines, and deliver work that's not your best. It's better to have a few happy clients who you're serving well than a ton of clients who are frustrated.
You're right, quality over quantity.
Hmm.
But even with a manageable workload, there's something else I've been thinking about. Isolation. Working from home sounds great, but I worry about, feeling disconnected from the world.
That's a valid concern. One of your sources, she's been a VA for a long time, and she really emphasized being proactive about fighting isolation. Join online communities, go to virtual networking events, even just, schedule regular coffee dates with other freelancers. It all helps maintain those social connections.
Right, it's about creating those opportunities for interaction since they won't just happen naturally like they would in an office.
Exactly. And those connections can lead to collaborations and referrals. Speaking of referrals, what are your thoughts on pricing and, attracting those first few paying clients?
Pricing is something I'm still trying to figure out. How do I know what I'm worth? How do I set competitive rates without undervaluing myself?
Your research mentioned a few different approaches, and the best one depends on your niche, your experience, and what you're comfortable with. Hourly rates are common for tasks that, take different amounts of time. Retainers give you consistent income for ongoing work, and project-based pricing works well for projects with a clear scope.
I've seen those models, yeah, but I'm not sure which one would be best for me. What should I be thinking about?
Think about the types of services you'll offer and how predictable your workload is. If you're okay with, your income going up and down and you like flexibility, hourly rates might be good. If you prefer stability and consistent cash flow, maybe retainers are better.
So it's about choosing a structure that fits my work style and my financial goals.
Okay.
But how do I actually decide what to charge? I
Mm.
don't want to be too expensive, but I also don't want to sell myself short.
Research is key. Check out online resources like the International Virtual Assistants Association, IVAA. They have info on industry standards and average rates. Talk to other VAs in your niche, see what they're charging.
So do my homework and find that balance between what the market will pay and what my skills are worth.
You got it. And as you gain experience and build your portfolio, don't be afraid to adjust your rates. Your value goes up over time, and your pricing should reflect that.
That's good to hear. But beyond setting rates, what about contracts? Do I really need a formal agreement with every client?
Contracts are super important. They protect you and the client by clearly outlining the work, the payment terms, all those important details.
Right, that makes sense. Prevents misunderstandings later on. But what should be included in a VA contract? Do I need to hire a lawyer to write up something super complicated?
There are lots of online resources and templates you can adapt. Key elements include.
Hang on, let me grab a pen. This is important.
Okay, so you want a detailed scope of work outlining exactly what tasks you'll do, your payment terms, whether it's hourly, retainer, or project-based, and when you'll get paid, how long the contract lasts, and the terms for renewal or termination, confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements, and a process for resolving disputes if you disagree on something.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. But it definitely makes sense to have everything in writing.
Absolutely. And while online templates can be helpful, it's always a good idea to, talk to a lawyer just to make sure your contracts are legal and follow all the rules, especially if you work with clients in different places.
Okay, I'll make sure to do that.
Yeah.
But beyond the day-to-day stuff and the legal stuff, what about the bigger picture? Growing my VA business, scaling it up. How do I go from being a solopreneur to having a whole team?
Now that's where things get exciting. Growing your VA business means expanding what you offer, getting good at delegating, and refining your marketing to attract more clients.
So it's about being strategic and building a business that can grow and change over time.
Exactly. And a big part of that is developing your skills. What new skills can you learn? Or what existing skills can you get even better at to increase your value and, attract those higher paying clients?
I've been thinking about that, maybe taking some online courses on SEO or social media ads to go along with my content creation skills.
Great idea. Staying up to date with technology is important too. Exploring new tools and platforms can make you more efficient and open up new opportunities.
You mentioned customer relationship management systems, CRM, before. Should I be looking into those?
A CRM can be really helpful as you get more clients. Helps you manage contacts, track interactions, personalize communication. That way, no client feels like just another number.
So even as my business grows, it's still about that personal touch.
Exactly. And don't forget about feedback. Regularly ask your clients for their input. It helps you improve your services, find areas where you can get better, and make sure you're meeting their needs.
Feedback, right? Being responsive and adapting to the changing market.
You got it. And as your business grows, your financial management needs to grow too. Think about upgrading your accounting software or even hiring a bookkeeper to make sure everything is accurate and efficient.
Right, staying on top of finances is important for long-term success. But looking even further ahead, what's in store for VAs in the future? What trends should I be aware of as I build my business?
The VA landscape is always changing. But one thing's for sure, the demand for skilled, tech-savvy virtual assistants is only going to increase. AI, automation, and more people working remotely, those are going to shape the industry in the coming years.
That's exciting and a little bit scary. How do I make sure I stay relevant and in demand as things change?
Never stop learning. Keep developing professionally, explore new technologies, stay informed about what's new.
So always be learning and adapting.
Right.
But beyond just keeping up with the latest tools and trends, what other skills will be important for VAs in the future?
Specialization is going to be even more important. Clients are going to be looking for VAs who are experts in specific niches or industries.
So it's not enough to be good at a lot of things. I need to become a master of something specific.
Exactly. And being able to work well in virtual teams, that's going to be crucial. Strong collaboration skills, good communication, knowing how to use team management platforms, those will be in high demand.
So even though the team might be spread out all over the place, being a team player is still important.
Exactly. And of course, cybersecurity will always be a top priority. Clients expect VAs to keep their data safe and use strong security measures.
So staying informed about best practices and using secure tools, that's how you build trust and credibility.
You got it. Now, before we move on to the last part of your VA journey, are there any key takeaways from this discussion that you want to highlight?
Definitely. One of the biggest things for me is realizing how important it is to be proactive and intentional in every aspect of building my VA business. From choosing a niche to creating a marketing plan, setting up a workspace, managing my time, it's all about taking charge and making my own success.
Couldn't agree more. It's about seeing yourself as a business owner, not just someone who works from home. That entrepreneurial mindset is going to be essential for handling the challenges and opportunities that come your way.
Another big takeaway is how important it is to keep learning and adapting. The VA world is constantly changing, so staying ahead of the curve by learning new things and embracing new technologies is crucial for long-term success.
Well said. It's about seeing challenges as chances to grow and approaching everything with curiosity and a willingness to learn and adapt.
And lastly, I can't emphasize enough how important community is. Connecting with other VAs, joining online groups, going to industry events, those can help fight isolation, provide support and resources, and even lead to collaborations and referrals.
Community is everything. Surrounding yourself with people who get what it's like to be a VA, who understand the challenges and the rewards, that can make a huge difference.
Okay, I'm feeling energized and ready to jump into the world of virtual assistants. But before I do, there's one last piece of the puzzle we need to talk about, the future outlook for VAs. What can I expect as I embark on this exciting career path?
Well, the future of virtual assistants, it's looking pretty bright as more businesses embrace remote work and, look for those flexible, cost-effective solutions. The need for skilled VAs is only going to grow.
So it's a good time to be getting into the field then.
Absolutely. But, with that growth comes more competition. To really stand out, VAs need to, offer something special, specialize, provide amazing service, and always be learning and, coming up with new ideas.
So it's not enough to just be good. You got to be great and always trying to be the best in your niche.
You got it. And as AI and automation become more integrated into the workplace, VAs need to embrace those technologies, see them as tools that can, enhance their services and free up time for those higher level tasks.
So instead of being scared of AI, we should be thinking of it as like a partner, something that can make our work easier and make us more efficient.
Exactly. The future of virtual assistants, it's about using tech to our advantage and focusing on those human skills that AI can't replace. Creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, and building those strong relationships with clients.
That's a great vision for the future of VAs. But before we get too carried away, let's bring it back to the present. What are the key takeaways for our listener who's ready to start their VA journey?
Good idea. Let's put all those nuggets of wisdom into a clear path to success.
All right, so first things first, the VA landscape is changing quickly. We're not just talking about admin tasks anymore. VAs are becoming strategic partners, tech experts, essential parts of virtual teams.
For sure. And to succeed in this evolving world, you need a diverse skill set. Communication, tech proficiency, time management, problem solving, attention to detail.
Those are the foundational skills, the ones that set you up for success. And don't forget to keep learning. The VA world is constantly evolving, so staying ahead of the curve is crucial.
Right. Invest in yourself, explore new tools and technologies, and never stop learning new
And
things.
the power of specializing, don't underestimate that. Finding your niche lets you focus your marketing, develop expertise, and charge more for your services.
Exactly. Once you've found your niche, create a solid marketing plan. Use a mix of online and offline strategies. Content marketing, email marketing, social media, networking, referrals. Those are all great ways to attract clients and keep them coming back.
And setting up a productive virtual office, that's important too. Invest in the right equipment, have a dedicated workspace, and make your environment a place where you can focus and be efficient.
Right. And master those time management and project management skills. Use techniques like the Pomodoro technique, time blocking, and prioritization to stay organized, meet deadlines, and avoid burning out.
And don't be afraid to delegate when you need to. Building a team can help you manage more work and take your business to the next level.
Exactly. Be proactive about potential challenges. Figure out strategies for maintaining quality, managing time zones, keeping data secure, and staying ahead of those technological advancements.
And when it comes to pricing and contracts, know what you're worth, choose the right pricing model, and have those clear, well-written contracts that protect you and your clients.
Right. And finally, embrace the future of virtual assistants with enthusiasm and an open mind. AI, automation, more specialization, remote work, cybersecurity, those are just some of the trends that are going to shape the industry.
So be adaptable, embrace change, and keep developing your skills and services to stay ahead of the game.
Exactly. The future is bright for VAs who are passionate, driven, and committed to providing amazing service.
Well said. I think that's a fantastic way to wrap things up. This has been an incredible journey through the world of virtual assistants. I feel inspired and ready to take on the challenge, and I hope you do too.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights, and I have no doubt that you'll thrive in this field.
And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into becoming a VA. We hope you found it helpful. Remember, you have the power to build a successful and fulfilling career as a VA. Believe in yourself, take action, and never stop learning and growing.
Good luck on your VA adventure. We're rooting for you.
And that concludes our deep dive into the world of virtual assistants. We hope you're feeling ready to take the leap. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.